Hello everyone, this is Professor Stewart. I just wanted to touch base with you about the course syllabus. So this particular YouTube or quick hit will be about the course syllabus, and I will also go over some online course myths and give you some information regarding this particular mini-mester. So if you have perused around D2L thus far, you will go to the Content tab, and there you will find a file folder called Course Syllabus. So a copy of the course syllabus will always be available to you. If for any reason I need to change something or something needs to be updated, I will always go back and put the most updated course syllabus in that particular file folder. So you always have access to the course syllabus and the course calendar, no questions asked. The one thing I do want you to be aware of is, of course, you signed up for a mini-mester course for this December, 3 weeks, 21 days of coursework. You have to be aware that in a mini-mester, you're collapsing 16 weeks of information into 3. So this is a very, very, very fast-paced course. If you have kids, if you have a job that you work a lot because it's the holidays, if you know you're just gonna go on vacation for a certain amount of time, I'm going to be honest, I'm not sure this is the course that you want to sign up for. However, only you know your schedule, and only you know how much work you're going to put into it. But I'm going to go through the course syllabus right now just to point out a few things in case you have any questions. And if you do have questions, don't be afraid to ask. As I said before, I am a professor, Professor Stewart. Most students call me Mr. Sean or Professor S or whatever. It's totally fine. This is my office information. I am on the University Park campus. However, because it is the holidays, I will not be on campus at all. I'm working from home entirely. So please keep that in mind as you are doing your work, that for this particular mini-mester, there is no possible way to do face-to-face office hours. If something really urgent comes up and you want to talk to me, we could do it either via email. I could log on to D2L chat and we could have a real-time chat at some point. Or if worse comes to worse and we need to do Skype sessions, we can do that. Your textbook is in Connect. Information of how to get Connect was sent to you a couple of days ago. So be sure you go through your email in order to read how to properly log on to Connect. So you will not have a face-to-face not face-to-face. You will not have a hard copy of the textbook. Your textbook is online in Connect. A couple of reasons we did this. Number one, it's easier for students. We're finding that students who utilize Connect end up having higher grades and higher grade scores in the classes. And number two, it's cheaper. So be aware of where your textbook is. You will always have access to that. Because this is an online course, online participation is required. A lot of people think that online courses means I don't have to do anything. I don't have to interact with my classmates. You have a lot of introverts and shy people take online classes because they don't think they have to communicate with their classmates, and that's 100% false. That's incorrect. You have to do the exact same things face-to-face classrooms do, and that involves some sort of interaction with your classmates. So you are participating through the discussion boards, and this isn't just a situation where you can just put, yes, I agree with Professor Stewart, or good post, John, or good post, Mary. That's not how this works. You're having interactive discussion. You're extending the discussion at hand. So just be aware of that when it comes to the discussion board. Be aware it's also your responsibility to remove yourself from the course. If you decide to stop attending or stop participating, then you need to do the proper thing, and that's drop the course. You would rather have a W on your transcript for withdraw than a C, D, or an F, especially if you're trying to transfer this course to a four-year institution. I will put some quick hits up throughout this course. I'm actually going to do that, if not today, for sure tomorrow. These are just little videos that I've made that either extend a certain topic that's in your text, or it gives you information that I think is important for that chapter that is not in your textbook. Information on the quick hits is fair game to be on the final exam or any of the 3 tests for this class. So I designed these quick hits to be no longer than 15 minutes, although there are a few of them that are a little bit longer because there's so much to explain. So there will always be a file folder called quick hits, and I will try to also email the class that the new quick hit has been posted. All assignments will be turned in through a Dropbox. You will not be emailing me assignments. Under no circumstances do you just send an email to a professor with an assignment, unless the professor has given you permission or unless you're asking for permission. But all assignments will have a Dropbox, so just be aware of that. If you're not using your D2L email, you need to start. I can only send information through your D2L email. So no longer can I send information to your Gmail or your Hotmail or anything of that nature. If you have any issues with me, I would expect the first person you come talk to would be me, the professor. And trust me, you and I will get it figured out and situated. But if for some reason something comes up, you want to follow the chain of command here, which is the department chair is Dave Guerin, our Dean of Behavioral and Social Sciences, Dr. Brandy Berg. Here's a list of questions that you want to be aware of. These are just frequently asked questions. I think most of these questions can answer any possible questions that you have. For online classes, what's pretty typical for students is to email me when they can't find something on the computer. Every so often, I'll give you directions, but for the most part, if it is a technical issue, you should be contacting the IT department. And keep in mind, there's 2 differences. I mean, there's a difference between D2L and iStar. And the other thing, your iStar is different from my iStar. So if you have any questions about how to navigate something, it's probably best to contact OTS. So these are the discussion boards I was talking about, information. Discussion boards is a pretty significant chunk of your grade. Remember, this is the whole purpose of a discussion board is to mimic or simulate the class lecture and interaction we would have in a face-to-face course. So you're just taking that and you're just putting it online. So when you look at the discussion board, there's a minimum of 500 words that needs to be that you need to respond to the discussion board questions that I have. One of your classmates has already asked, does it need to be 500 words per question? And that answer is no. It needs to be 500 words total for all of the questions. Also, writing out the question in your response is totally fine. But if you write out the question in your response, those words do not count towards your 500 minimum. So just something to be aware of as you're constructing your answer. I have what I call a first post due date. That's the due date that your first post to the discussion board questions is due. It's not necessarily the due date that you have to respond to everyone. The whole purpose of a first post due date is to keep class discussion flowing. If you don't have a first post due date, what most of you do is you post everything at the very last minute at like 11:30, the day the module is supposed to close. And that's a disservice not only to you, but to your classmates, because your classmates can't respond until people actually post. So then you get this backlog of people posting between 11 and 12 p.m., and it doesn't create a collegial atmosphere in which we're learning. So that's why I instituted the first post due date. And you see lots of professors doing this now on. You do have to respond to at least 2 of your classmates. Both responses need to be a minimum of 150 words, and they need to add to the discussion. The other thing, if you want to ask your classmates a question, put that in the discussion, and it's up to that classmate to go back and read that discussion and answer that, and that will be factored into your grade. So just some ways to stay on track in discussion boards. In case this is your first online class and you've never dealt with discussion boards before, I would read this again and again. And if you have questions, please do not be afraid to email me and ask. You'll be writing 3 reflection essays. These are only designed to be about a page and a half, 500 to 750 words. How this works is you pick a concept or a theory or something from the chapters that are being discussed in that particular module, and all you have to do is explain what it is that you learned and how it applies directly to your life. Simple as that. Looking Glass project, this is due in the next couple of days. You're just taking pictures of you or your family or that you took on family vacation. These should not be stock photos. These should not be just random photos you found from the internet. They should have you in them. And they could be recent. They could be of you and grandma and grandpa. They could be of you when you were 3 years old. But you're selecting pictures that represent who you are, that show a reflection of who you are. And more information about this will be posted here in the next couple of days. We're doing a poem project, and you should see this module open already, I think. If not, I'll go back and open it up. This is just designed to express our emotions, and more information about that will be coming up. One of the major projects in this class is a movie paper analysis. You get to choose 3 movies, the movie Crash, The Blind Side, and The Help. And these are all 3 movies I have seen multiple times. So you're not just writing about what happened in the movie, you're actually using and synthesizing information that we learned in this class and applying it directly to this movie. There will be 3 exams in this class, 1 per week. Those exams will be in Connect. There will be 12 quizzes, and here's the deal. These aren't really labeled as quizzes. When you read the chapter in Connect, the chapter will randomly, and I've been told 2 different things from students. It will either every so often pop up a question that you have to answer, or at the very end, you have to answer a series of questions. That's what the quiz is, okay? So just be aware of that. The quiz is the Connect questions that you were asked while you were reading the chapter. There's a syllabus quiz. If you do not take the syllabus quiz before the end of the required date, you will be dropped the very next day. You're doing class introductions. I do not accept late work, and there could be possibly extra credit available to you towards the end of the semester. So these are your evaluations. This is how you're going to be evaluated in the assignments in this class. If you notice, I go by the point system. So all you have to do is always add up your points. So you will always know what your grade is in this class. In addition, the way that I have the gradebook set up, you will always see a running total of what your overall average is for the course. This is the course schedule. As I said before, we're in a mini-mester, only 3 weeks, so it's pretty compact. I will be honest, we will most likely not deviate from the schedule. So what that means is these dates are pretty much set in stone. So if you want to map out your work schedule, you want to map out your family schedule, go ahead and do that. And put these dates in your phone, put these dates in your calendar, your date book, whatever you need. These dates are not going to change. We're pretty much set in stone with this. I do take academic integrity seriously. That means no plagiarism. If you do plagiarize on an assignment, you'll be given an automatic 0. If you plagiarize again, you'll be given an F for the course. Other than that, just peruse this at your leisure. The other thing I did want you to point out to you is the withdrawal policy, the day to earn we call it drop day. The last day to drop this class is January 2nd. And you can drop this class on any Lone Star College campus at the Student Services Building. It doesn't have to be at University Park. If you live closest to the Creekside Center or you live closest to Sci-Fair, then go to them and drop the class. You can do that. And if they tell you that you can't do it, you have to do it at UP because that's where I'm located, that is 100% incorrect. That is wrong. So please let me know. There's all sorts of things available to you. The problem with the December mini-mester is some of these things are closed. You will always have access to the LSE library through your student account. So when we get to the major movie analysis paper, I will post some information about that when it comes to finding scholarly resources. And then the syllabus caveat, please remember the syllabus is copyright of me, Mr. Sean. So I own it, so that means I can change it at any time I want. However, if I change the syllabus or anything in the course calendar, it is always to the benefit of you. I will never give you less time to do something. I will always give you more time. So if I change the syllabus, it's not me being mean. It's to benefit the students in this class because I want you to be successful. So that is the course syllabus. Once again, a copy of this will always be available in D2L. So let's look at some online course myths that get people pretty confused when it comes to online classes. I don't know what you've heard about online classes. You know, you see them all the time on TV, the University of Phoenix, you see Southern New Hampshire, I think that's one, Grand Canyon University. All of these online programs market themselves to say you can work at your own pace, work at any time, and they're actually being deceiving in that instance. Yes, you can work at any time, but there are still due dates and there is still order in the online classroom. So you have to be aware of that. It's not turn in assignments whenever you want. No, there has to be due dates. There has to be some professionalism, some structure in the online class. So, as I said before, it's not really a work at your own pace. That's kind of deceiving. Deceiving in the sense of, yes, you can wake up at 3 in the morning and work on assignments, but they have a due date. So just like face-to-face classes have a due date, you have a due date for your online classes as well. Students always say, well, there's more work in an online class. I've heard that before. Mr. Sean, I think you're giving us more work than you give your face-to-face classes. I've heard some students say, I think you give us less work than your face-to-face classes. And the actual answer is you do the same assignments. Because you chose to take an online class, you're missing out on the element of online or face-to-face activities that we do in the classroom. If students ask questions, the question back and forth, me calling on students to see if they understand the material or know the answer. So that's why you have to replace that with the discussion boards. So if you ask yourself, are we doing more work? Are we doing less work? The answer is no, you're doing the exact same thing. Think about it like this. If this mini-mester were a face-to-face class instead of an online class, they would have the exact same schedule that you would have. As I said before, I think some myths about online is students think, oh, I don't have to communicate with anyone, that's why I'm going to take it online, and that's not true. Discussion boards is your communication with your classmates, your interaction, your participation. And then I get this feedback from students. They say online is easier or online is harder. And keep in mind, as your professor, I've taken online classes before in undergrad. I'm currently getting my PhD from the University of Nebraska, and my PhD is online. So when you look at, let's go back. When you look at the idea that online is harder or easier or harder, I say that's false. Online classes are just delivered differently. And what I mean by that is you're just choosing to take a different method or a different channel in terms of your education. You've chosen online. It's just different. It's not easier or harder. So information regarding this particular mini-mester, remember, we're doing 3 straight weeks of work. So what that means is, unfortunately, we are in a very busy holiday season compared to, let's say, the May mini-mester. So in May, when I teach this class for 3 weeks, the only holiday we have is, what is that, Memorial Day? Here, you kind of have 2 different holidays, and one of them is a pretty major holiday to some of you out there. That would be Christmas Day. If you notice Module 2, it's extended for 5 days and not 4. The reason for that is because I do not expect you to log in or do or complete any work on Christmas Day. I am not advocating that you do that. If you celebrate Christmas, that should be a time with your family, in my opinion. So, but I mean, of course you can. Some of you might say, oh, well, we already unwrapped presents and I'm bored. I'm going to work on the discussion board. That's totally cool. I'm just not expecting you to do that, which is why I extended that module out an extra day. However, that does mean then, if I want to give you Christmas Day off, we kind of have to work on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. If we were to take all 3 of those days off, this class would not function. So some sacrifices had to be made, and I was willing to let Christmas Day go in order I was willing to let you off, per se, on Christmas Day. But we do have to make up that work somewhere, and that work has to be made up. I think there's a couple of due dates on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, so just something to be aware of. However, I'm trying something new with you guys. I've been teaching online for years, and this is something I've never done. And I've decided I'm going to try it with this mini-mester. So I want you to tell me, give me some feedback. How you like this? If you like it or if you don't like it, send me an email. Let me know. I've decided to just open up everything. Every module is open. Every discussion board is open. The only thing, though, the due dates are set in stone. However, it's already open. Throughout the course of this week, I'm going to go ahead and open up all the drop boxes. I'm going to, for your assignment, I will even post the final movie analysis in case you want to get started on that. Some of you might be bored at mom and dad's because you're home from college at your four-year institution. You have nothing to do, so you think, let me watch one of these movies and go ahead and knock that assignment out of the way. This week, I will open up everything. Between today and Wednesday, I will open up practically everything. So I know I wrote here certain assignments and drop boxes will open as we go on. Well, in the process of recording this, I've just made an executive decision with myself. Haha, I can do that. And that is, I'm just going to open up everything. So you have everything at your disposal because I know this is a very, very, very busy time for a bunch of you. So this was an overview of the syllabus and some some online class myths and some information about the course. I welcome you to this class. I think you're going to learn a lot about yourself, a lot about relationships, why some of your relationships go bad, why some of your relationships are going well, and for some of you, why you can't get into a relationship. So be aware of what this class is. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask.